Welcome to RIMS-CRMP Canada, a video podcast produced by RIMS, exploring the evolving risk landscape in Canada today. This series will be hosted in 2026 by Lukoni, RIMS Canada National Conference Committee Chair. I'm your producer and co-host, Justin Smullison, Business Content Manager here at RIMS, the Risk and Insurance Management Society. Our mission with RIMS-CRMP Canada is to provide perspective from experienced risk professionals in Canada to further educate and inform the Canadian and global risk communities. We have the ideal guest to help us carry out that mission today. We are delighted to be joined by Candace Heron, RIMS-CRMP. She is the Manager of Claims Management at the electric utility Toronto Hydro. She is also a prominent member of the Ontario chapter of RIMS, better known as ORIMS, and she introduced the concept of the Rising Risk Professional Network to ORIMS in 2023 and launched it in 2024. The network has expanded to 277 connections across Canada, which is a credit to Candace's vision and influence. These achievements led her to being named the 2026 RIMS Volunteer of the Year, and she received her award in front of thousands of her peers at RiskWorld 2026. We were delighted to have Candace sit down with Aaron live on site at RiskWorld to discuss her work with Toronto Hydro and ORIMS and how she hopes her recent honor will inspire others to join the profession and get involved. Now, there were some issues with the video file, so this episode will be a bit of a hybrid video and slideshow montage, but our audio is nice and clean, so play it nice and loud. Let's get to it. 2026 RIMS Volunteer of the Year, Candace Heron, welcome to RIMS-CRMP Canada.
Yeah, thanks so much, Candace, for jumping on our RIMS-CRMP Canada live from Philadelphia at RiskWorld. So I was so excited to see you walk across the stage as a Canadian and take the 2026 RIMS Volunteer of the Year award. So thanks for taking the time. You founded the ORIMS Rising Risk Professional Network, and that's the first of its kind at the chapter level in Canada. And so what gap did you see in the market, and how did you turn that insight into a sustainable growing community?
Okay, well, it came out of a personal experience.
Okay.
I went to my first ORIMS event, and there was 800 people, and I didn't know anybody, and everyone seemed to know everybody else. So immediately I was just like, oh my God, I need to run away from this, which I know is not the right answer. And then I had a mentor who told me to get involved, and when I got involved with US RIMS, I heard about Rising Risk Professional, and Canada didn't have one. So I saw a gap there. And things lined up, and I was able to bring it to Ontario, and they supported it. And 2 years going now, we have members across Canada, which is lovely. And the real gap that I learned over time was that we have a lot of good programs for students, and then we have a little bit of a gap in between. Once you're a new professional for 7 years in the industry, you might not be supported to go out to the events.
It's true.
You might not be supported for professional development, or you're attending them and they're just not the level of information that you need at that time in your career. So this group was created to fill that gap, and we cater professional development to those in their first 7 years. And we host networking gatherings so you can meet your cohort so that you can have friends when you go to the bigger ORIMS gatherings. And we also want to note that it was free. So there's a gap in that if there was a barrier to join ORIMS or RIMS, this group is free.
Were there any other specific strategies or programming choices that you made at an ORIMS level to drive that engagement?
So I learned by default. I tried a lot of things.
Yeah, as we do.
Yes. And the best thing I did was a call for volunteers, and I got 20 volunteers.
Oh.
And honestly, they brought the ideas. So a lot of them were rising risk professionals. They had a lot of energy. They want to get engaged. And they brought different strategies. LinkedIn was our biggest, I think, win, because we got people from across Canada, and it was easy to connect, and that spread the word. And not a lot of chapters were on LinkedIn. But we knew that rising risk professional groups in the US had LinkedIn. It was successful. So if you're wanting to join, you can find us, ORIMS Rising Risk Professional Network, on LinkedIn and connect, and you're part of the network.
Yeah, I love that. How do you keep that volunteer energy up in these kind of professional association settings? especially for younger rising risk professionals? How do you really get them engaged?
Okay, so my number one strategy, there's an exit plan.
An exit plan.
An exit plan.
Yeah.
So I do a call for volunteers. It's usually in August, and you're on for a year. So you don't have to stay on forever. And I think that's important because sometimes life changes. You still want to be involved, but you can't give that much time. So at least this way I know, okay, all the volunteers know they can drop off at the end of the year, and they know where things go up and down. So my strategy was to have a lot of them.
Absolutely. And so that kind of contributes into that whole long-term talent pipeline for risk management professionals. So are you finding that there's a big uptick in that people are staying on past the 1 year and not just being like, well, that was fun, but I'm done?
Yeah, so 75% of people stayed on.
Excellent.
And they were able to pass down some of the skills to the newer volunteers. But they also just brought different energies. So some people, the first year, stepped up really big. They planned a lot of events. And then the second year, they shared information and let others take over. So that's been great. And I mean, the energy of just new people getting involved. And these are all people, we didn't turn anyone away. They put their hands up. So they know they had that energy. They wanted to get involved. And it's a really easy way to get involved because essentially you're connected right in. You know 20 people who are volunteering with you right away. And then from there, you meet so many other people. And all you do is fill out a form.
We will take one quick break. We got to talk about the 50th in-person RIMS Canada conference, which will be held in Quebec City on October 18th through the 21st, 2026. Visit RIMSCanadaConference.ca. There's plenty of information already on the site. Sponsorship opportunities are still available. And registration will open in June. More information about that in our next episode. We look forward to seeing you at the RIMS Canada Conference in Quebec City, October 18th through the 21st. Visit RIMSCanadaConference.ca. And now let's return to our interview with 2026 RIMS Volunteer of the Year Award winner, Candace Heron.
Governor Hydra has been very supportive of me and everything I've been doing. And I think they recognize that outside of the workplace, this type of opportunity of bringing this new element to Ontario and encouraging insurance industry and working with volunteers brought a professional development opportunity for myself.
Excellent. So now you've done this for ORIMS, which is phenomenal. But what ideas or practices do you think we could take as other chapters across Canada that would make this scalable and applicable or available, I guess?
Well, this is fresh in my mind because I believe Ottawa will be the next chapter, knock on wood, that creates a group. So essentially, my advice to other chapters who want to do this is you got to just think about your chapter and what works best for your chapter. Ontario is a very giant chapter.
It is very large, yes.
So I get a lot of volunteers. Maybe smaller chapters don't have that, or they don't even have the subset of young professionals yet. So I would say start small, create a space, and I think people will come.
Yeah, if the option's there.
If the option is there,
opportunity.
And reach out to people who have been part of Rising Risk professional groups like myself. I can hook you up with other US groups. And essentially, once you create the space, people come and we can work together. So a lot of half of our stuff is online. I'm not going to hoard that. Like, you use that for your chapter. If you don't even have a Rising Risk professional network, don't worry about it. You can still link those people into our group and they can join in the sessions, which they do across the country.
Now, I know it's just so easy to see, just talking with you now, why you won the Volunteer of the Year Award. But let's just pivot for a quick second. So now you've also spoken about intergenerational leadership at the RIMS Canada Conference, which is coming up soon in Quebec. Why is that concept so critical right now? And how are you putting it into practice in your own chapter in Ontario?
Okay, so sustainability was something I didn't think about when this group was created, but now looking at the future, I see why it's so important to sustain for the industry. In Ontario, how we do intergenerational leadership is we're creating this space for you to meet your cohort, but then we're also connecting you to the 7+ years group. And we're only in our second year. So, next year we have a big plan for mentoring. Again, a mentoring you can get out of. It's not a never-ending mentoring. But we're trying to really get those two groups together. And why I spoke at RIMS Canada was because I wanted 7+ years of experience to think about it. And I want them to think about how are you purposefully getting those involved, because that's the future.
It is.
So it's very important. I think it's something we'll be talking about for a while.
Absolutely. So last question for you. So with your work at the ORIMS committee level, you've also done some other initiatives as like website improvements. You've done some engagement tools. So how do those behind the scenes efforts strengthen your own overall member experience and then the experience for others?
So luckily, I have really good tech people who volunteer.
Sure.
And
Everyone needs a good tech guy.
I know. And they do most of the work and they bring the ideas. But where technology has really helped us is there's a pathway for conversation. So one thing that I think is really special about ORIMS Rising Risk Professional Network is you can direct message us and ask us anything. And we've been asked a lot of interesting things.
Yeah.
You're going for a job and you want to know more about underwriting. We talk to you. So there's literally a volunteer in every aspect of insurance. And so if you have a question or you want to be linked to somebody or you're a student, you just want to know how to navigate market and what's going on, people are direct messaging us. So I think that was probably the biggest change. And then, our ORIMS chapter, I think they might have been using LinkedIn maybe, but now I see that they're really
using it.
and the board members are using it. And so I think that really helps the outreach and the conversation for those who can't get downtown Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having that platform to ask those questions and then have experienced members be able to answer that would be so valuable as you're trying to navigate your career and working on where you're going to go in your next steps. Definitely not built in one day. And as an amazing volunteer yourself, do you have anyone else that helped you along this way or somebody that maybe you want to thank?
Okay, definitely. All I did was bring an idea that was already there to Ontario, but someone brought me to connect to the insurance community. And so I'd like to thank Karen McDonald. She's essentially the person who told me to get involved, and I didn't know what ORIMS was or what RIMS was, so that set me in this pathway. And then there's just a lot of really amazing people, as you know, all over the industry. I'm going to throw some names like Ann Hildreth and Tina Gardner, some living legends, and of course the volunteers. Like nothing would happen without the volunteers. You get a lot back when you're a volunteer. I encourage anyone to try to be volunteering or get involved. But all of those Ontario Rising Risk Professional volunteers over the years, I think in total there's been like at least 35 of them. So thank you guys. You've made this what it is, and we're going to keep bringing it forward.
Thank you so much for being on RIMScast Canada here in Philadelphia at Risk World, and we look forward to seeing you in Quebec City in October.
I'll be there.
Special thanks again to Candace Heron, the 2026 RIMS Volunteer of the Year, for joining us here on RIMScast Canada. She does terrific work for our ORIMS chapter and also at Toronto Hydro. Learn more about her work in the awards edition of RIMS Risk Management magazine, which will be available through the digital issues button of rmmagazine.com. And be sure to share this episode on social. We want you to share what you learn and celebrate Candace's prestigious honor. And of course, special thanks to our wonderful RIMScast Canada host, Aaron Lukoni. Look for new episodes every month right here on rims.org/Canada. My name is Justin Smolison, Business Content Manager here at RIMS and the host of RIMScast. Thank you for tuning in and keep coming back to the RIMS Canada homepage every month for a brand new episode of RIMScast Canada.